allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Have a moment of silent prayer. Amen. Okay, it's Tuesday evening, November 2nd, 2021. We're 5:30 in the evening, Municipal Center. Could I have a roll call, please?
Scott Murphy,
Present.
Rick Weber, absent. Greg Forney,
Here.
Rose Jackson. Here. Elizabeth Skinner. Here. Chris Chapman,
Here.
and Susan Wexler's here. Okay, we have a quorum.
Okay, can I have the review of the minutes from the council meeting of October 19th, 2021? I'll take any additions or corrections and a common consent. It looked good to me. If anybody picked anything else out from it, are we okay? Common consent? Okay, thank you. All right, persons before council, we have Hunter here. So I will give the floor to him.
Let me give you a building update. The building's up on blocks. Royce is gonna transport it for free, and I'm waiting on, oh man, just slipped my mind just like that. I'm waiting on my grader.
Okay.
Okay, now, insurance, I'm gonna turn it over to Greg and let him explain what's going on with the lift insurance.
All right, so with, I think that the best thing would be, so that way the Bath Christmas Project didn't have to take out a whole entire policy, is, equipment rental agreement, which is in our packets, which transfers the liability from them to the town. So when the town has a lift, if anything happens to any of the employees, that liability will be covered underneath the town's policy because the town's renting it for the amount of $0. And this keeps that corporation from having to get a policy.
Okay.
So it hasn't been signed yet. We have to.
Okay.
And we did reach out to our insurance company and they will pick it up on their coverage.
Okay.
I did look it over and I don't see why we couldn't do it this way. It sounds right to me, so I make a motion that we sign the equipment rental agreement with the Bath Christmas Project for the lift.
That was $0.
And the amount of $0.
Okay, we have a motion second on the floor to follow through with the Bath Christmas Project for the rental, equipment rental agreement between them and the town. I have a second. Do I have any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion passes. So that's
Thank
taken care
you.
of.
Can I sign and go?
You have the original?
I have the original.
Okay, he's got the original. Okay. And I'll sign it after the meeting.
Hopefully we have the same agreement with the county tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Okay. Lori, you have the floor.
Thank you. I'm here to represent the Chamber of Commerce. We are requesting permission to hold the Deck the Meters project again this year, where we'll be covering the meters. Starting Sunday, November 21st, we'll open it up for them to start decorating with the goal of having the meters covered by Friday, the 25th. We'd like to leave them covered until Sunday, January 2nd. It affects a total of 31, what I call meter days, that you would actually be collecting the way that the holidays fall. It takes a Friday and a Saturday in both December and January. So the town or the Travel Berkeley Springs is willing to make another donation to the town of $1,000 to help cover the lost meter fees. We're able to move forward with that.
And I did talk to Tony about this and he's fine with it. He said they would just remove the batteries from the meters.
Like we did
and
last year.
Yeah,
Okay.
because not all of them's gonna be decorated anyway, and the meters that are not covered, people can
Right.
put the quarter in and move forward.
And we do have a sponsor this year, so we'll be offering some prizes. Hoping to boost it a little bit.
That's cool. That's cool. Okay, well, I would entertain a motion, I don't know if that was a motion, Rose, I would entertain a motion to follow through with this so that we can give them authorization to do this project.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second on the floor to do the the meter project again this year, starting from the 25th, right?
21st.
The 21st of November to January 2nd, right? And that Travel Berkeley Springs would give $1,000 donation. So any discussion with the council? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion passes. You have the meters.
Thank you. We'll make it public tonight.
Okay.
Not a
See
problem.
how hard that was?
Thank you.
Hard to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. Real quick, we unfortunately have had a death of one of our volunteers that's been working on the train depot for 13 years, also Streetscapes, also Rails and Trails Project, passed away the other day. So I just want to send out our condolences to his family. He will be sorely missed in this community with all the volunteer hours that he's done, mainly right now on the train depot in the last year. Anyway, I just want to let their family know that we appreciated every minute that he had spent with us, talking with us, doing stuff for the depot, for the Streetscapes project, or whatever that he had to do for the town. And he will, like I said, be sorely missed.
He was a decent
So,
person.
yes.
Good man, good sense of humor, did everything. very
Absolutely.
diligently, and I'd like to thank his family for loaning him to us.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I second that. So anyway, so we'll be pressing forward on that project. We're gonna have to kind of get in gear. I know the town clerk and I have been talking about it and everything else. So, and I just was speaking to Susan here about the project too. So we're gonna keep going. We'll get that project done, and then hopefully we'll come up with some ideas that we may want to do something special for John down at the depot. So we'll get our heads together and figure out what we want to do, and then we'll bring it to council. So, all right. The Mountain State Cruisers is also brought in. They're kind of when they brought it in, I was here when they were brought it in. They kind of changed some stuff up. They said that they like to first Friday of each month from May to September 22nd, begin at 5 p.m. and at 8, and they will be using the Berkeley Springs State Park for the event again. They'd like permission to block off Fairfax between 522 and Wilkes for the events. The dates of the cruise in looks to be May 6th, June 3rd, July 1st, August 5th, and September 2nd. It's also, in addition, on Saturday, June 18th, they will be holding their annual Father's Day car show. In addition to blocking off portions of Wilk Street mentioned above, we are requesting permission to create a non-parking area along US 522 South. This would extend from the traffic light to the entrance of the swimming pool parking area, Country Inn entrance. And the time of that show would be 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. They will need to start setting up at 6:30. So they're asking permission. I think this is a fine thing that we have come to our town with the cruisers. They bring people in here. There's a lot of people that come in, walk around the streets in the evenings. Even after the cruise in's done, I can still see them, going to our local shops, restaurants and stuff like that. So I would entertain a motion from the council to let the cruise in's go ahead and do on this.
So made.
Second.
Okay. Have a motion second on the floor to let the Mountain State Cruise Inns have their cruise ins per their letter, and then their Saturday, June 18th, twenty
Well,
twenty-two.
that is a difference. Usually
Right,
they're
it
on
was Sunday,
but this would
that's
be
what they
Saturday.
changed up.
Mhm.
They went from Sunday to Saturday, and they would like those parking spaces out front, which I don't see a problem with. And I think we can work around that, so have a motion and a second, and any discussion?
Yeah, just a question. You see any reason to refer this to public safety to discuss with training? Before we-
Been it for years.
I'm just, a-
Yeah.
I'm asking the chair of the committee.
But, yeah, let's hold that, let's do that. Let me ask
Just
talk
so,
to Tony
just so
about it.
Okay.
So
that
we
he
can,
has an opportunity to provide
Right.
input.
that's a good thought. We can
All right, then
answer
we're
the
gonna
next,
have
we
to,
can
you
table
have
it.
to rescind your
Yeah.
motion then.
Make a motion to rescind my motion approving the cruisings, now, is it, okay, are you just talking about the Saturday or the whole thing?
Let's just leave him look at the whole thing.
Yeah, let's give
I mean,
the
it
opportunity
just-
for the chief.
It doesn't start till May, so we have
Yeah.
plenty
Yeah,
of
no.
time.
Yeah.
All right, I rescind my motion to approve the request from the Mountain State Cruisers.
We need to put this on the next,
That has
Yeah.
to be voted
On
on,
the next-
oh, yeah,
and then it has to be seconded.
right, it has to be second,
Beth?
Oh, second.
okay, all right, the motion is to rescind, the motion to let the cruise-ins, to give them the authority until we let the chief look at it, make sure everything's okay. Have a motion and a second on the floor to rescind that, any discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, we'll have the chief look at that and get back with us. Okay, also the other thing is, looks like we have a wreath laying ceremony set for Veterans Day on the 7th, it looks like, of, November. Sunday the 7th to honor our veterans. It looks like it's gonna be held at 12 noon. Just wanna let everybody know.
Mhm.
Okay. We'll go from there. All right, let's move on down. Bath Development. The next meeting is the 3rd of this month, which would be tomorrow. Okay, and then Parks and Recs, we have our representative here. Good to see you, and you have the floor.
Parks and Recs has a meeting on November 17th, that's Wednesday. We have a meeting every third Wednesday of the month. At 7 o'clock, courthouse, in the commissioner room. And the only thing I have tonight is Bitty Buddy basketball signups, K through 8. And it's until November 13th. And Dawn, our director, is not taking any late registration after the 13th. Cost is $50. The practices start November 29th. The games are roughly starting around January 8th or 9th. We're still up in the air about that. Every information that I discussed today will be on our website, on our Facebook website. And that way you can click a link and you can sign
Then you all just finished up soccer season this last weekend?
on. I think soccer's done. Baseball's done.
Yeah.
So we'll
On
get
to
to
new
basketball.
things. On to winter sports.
Okay, well, we'll put the word out. Hopefully get some good candidates to come out for that and have a good time through the winter time and be able to have some fun.
Trying to keep them active and not
Yes.
on video games.
Absolutely. You got it. You got it. All right, thank you very much. Okay, planning commission, I know that you held, but I.
Yeah. Well, Larry and I just got together and we met and just initially just talked over the law and went over the comp plan, a little bit about things that that we have accomplished that could be taken out of the law or changed a little bit. He's had a very good suggestion in that when we have these comp plans and have duties, that the comp plan actually assign the duty to a group or something, because it's military and you give a job, you do where you get it to, so somebody's responsible. I think, just gonna be great with it, we just need, you know, some more, a couple more, participants, and we'll try to arrange something with the mayor so that we can get together and start getting together on a regular basis. The law says, quarterly, planning commission has to be quarterly, but we, you know, we want to go more than that.
Yeah.
But that's all I have.
Well, like I said, I'll get back in here in the next month or so, so I apologize to the council. I've not been as active as I should have, so I apologize. Okay, so we got that. Okay, let's move down. Rails and trails, you got an insert. You know, basically, I don't know if you want to make an update on the things that have been happening as far as, or the council can just read it. You know, if you have any questions, we can, you know, later on or whatever, we can go from there. But it looks like, basically, he's got streetscapes wrote down here, the stuff with the curbing. I think they were doing a walkthrough today. I'm almost sure that I saw them down there. So,
Very little was in town.
yeah. So they were doing a walkthrough, so I don't know if they'll have a punch list that needs to be done, later on to stuff that maybe didn't get done with this phase of streetscapes. So we'll have to wait and see. So basically, everything else is there. So, and we'll go from there. If anybody has any questions, we can, you know, go from there. So I'm gonna go on down. That takes care of streetscapes and rails and trails. I didn't see anything. I kind of cruised it. I didn't really see anything that was other than, you know, they just said there's some curbing that needs to be painted. So this is actually, I guess, the punch list here. It looks like they said they're about 80% done on. It looks like that EPA Region 3, about 80% done on the narrative, and then it looks like there's a couple of things, stormwater management down there. There's going to be some classes, and that was in the Morgan Messenger. So everybody okay with that? Okay, all right, well, let's move down to Train Depot. Of course, I told you all about John. I don't know if you have anything right now, or you want to wait until next meeting and we'll.
Well, what I'm gonna try to do is kind of put the band back together. Now, with the original folks who were in it, as years went on and things, you know, changed with the depot, John did the majority, and he and I were in contact all the time. But there were, the original people included, Jim Bailey, who lives in town, Brian Lee, me, John, Michael Dropwald, who has moved from town, and other people, and we're talking 13 years, you know. Michael has moved away, and I'm gonna be in touch with those folks and get together so that we can, you know, keep moving forward with the progress John has made. We'll have to change some contacts and contact with granting agencies, and contractors, because somebody will have to, you know, arrange for the work to be done.
Right.
It has the bid for the hazmat. We do have a low bid and at a good price. At the last finance committee meeting, John was very pleased with that. And financially, the depot project is in good shape.
Yeah.
So we're going to move forward, and I'll have more for you next week.
But yeah, like I
So
said,
more
we'll
things,
gradually get things together, and we've got the information coming in. It's been brought in some of the stuff to share and everything. So we'll get this all together between Susan and myself, and we'll make sure that project keeps rolling along. And like I said, later on, we're going to consider coming to the council about maybe doing a dedication or something down there with something for him. So,
for his family.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, so anyway, okay, Landmarks Commission,
The town was reimbursed, the $10,500 for the grant, and that one's really been, you know, for the most part, put to bed.
Right.
Done. So,
Okay.
and that's all I have for that,
okay,
besides, getting it built back up. And
right,
oh, and also, there's one thing I wanted to mention, is that I'm gonna shoot the email out. There was, the shipper reached out to me and said that there's an additional grant left over for this year that can be used for, education educational purposes. So if we're able to get the HLC built back up, then there's grant money to use to bring people in to train or to educate on the significance of those roles.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, like I said, for right now, I mean, Sharon and I have kind of been talking and, kind of been, I'm not so sure that we're gonna get that built up right away.
yeah, yeah.
With everything that's happened, I wanna go slowly with that. And I wanna get it, I definitely wanna get it back up and running because we definitely need it in this community, but we need to put people in there that, we can take care of all the business we need. So like I said, I think right now, I think we're just gonna kind of slowly get into it and take it back up and then go from there. But we'll stay in contact as things start rolling and we start, maybe getting people involved. So, okay, anything else on
That's
that?
everything.
Okay, thank you, Greg. Clerk and recorder's report. Madam Clerk, do you have anything?
No, the only thing I heard is that the office will be closed on the 11th in observance of Veterans Day.
Madam Recorder?
Well, I have some things, but probably more towards, finance. I did attend the town hall that Attorney General Morrissey had at the state park. This was now 10 days ago. It was very interesting and he answered everyone's questions. It was very well attended. He's quite a busy man and taking care of the rights of West Virginians and making sure we keep them like that. Also met with Congressman McKinley yesterday. He is congressman from the first district, and as you know, we have lost population, so we will have 2 congressional districts. So far, McKinley is challenging Mooney, and so we'll have a race, so we need to pay attention.
Right.
And so those are just 2 other events that I need to.
Good. All right, well then we'll slip on down to finance then, and we'll let you guys take care. We'll pay some bills here. Once you guys let us know what's up.
All right.
Do you have them?
Yes,
You got them?
I do. I certainly do.
Don't lose them.
I don't know where
I
they
don't,
are.
I don't have, you,
All right. No, I do.
you do,
Yes,
okay.
yes, yes. Yes, yes. All right, so I'd like to make a motion for the town to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $2,418.20.
Second.
Have a motion and a second on the floor to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $2,418.20. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
All right. I'd like to make a motion for the town to pay the Berkeley Springs water bill in the amount of $4,261.04.
Second.
We have a motion second on the floor to pay the Berkeley Springs water work bills in the amount of $4,261.04. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the rail and trail bill in the amount of $1,020.34.
Second.
Have a motion second on the floor to pay the rail and trail bills in the amount of $1,020.34. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
I'd like to make a motion to pay the Greenway Cemetery bill in the amount of $84.50.
Second.
Have a motion on the floor and a second to pay the Greenway Cemetery bills in the amount of $84.50. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That motion passes.
The finance committee did meet today. We had a quorum. We did go over, Sharon, with the clerk's report, and she has done some work on the budget comparison. The last meeting, we discovered some things that, there have been some financial changes that we thought needed to be made, and Sharon's made those changes. what she plans to do is present on a quarterly basis to the whole council, budget revisions and budget, comparison and things that, you know, we have maybe noticed in the committee that need change, tweaked a little bit. For example, we don't have as many private clubs as we used to because some have closed down, so the income we thought we were getting, we won't get. You know, that kind of thing, and some things are up. And so that's planned to be presented to the whole council. Of course, everyone's invited to all the finance committee meetings. But that's one thing that we brought up. Tomorrow is the ARPA meeting, American Rescue Plan meeting at the county courthouse at 10 a.m. We went, Sharon and Brianna and Beth did go to the auditors meeting, and you'll notice, did you make copies of okay, so you all should have the whole packet here. I found it to be a lot of information. The whole morning was about ARPA, and I took 4 pages of notes, so, you know, I paid attention anyway. I think the rest of them did. But very interesting, and it causes, you know, gives you a little pause as to, you know, are we doing things correctly? Do we have enough controls? Are we maintaining our open meeting laws the way they should be? Are we projecting what we should be to the public and making it available to them? One of the things we can do is have public officials come and speak to us from the state about open meeting laws, agendas, minutes, and all those kind of things. And they did emphasize that committees, subcommittees, everybody needs to do agendas and minutes of their meetings. We talked about, we had some cemetery discussion, and I think Beth will speak to that, some of those things a little bit more later. But one thing that she did bring to finance was that the cost of moving the cars at the Old English Cemetery in order to get to the trees. We talked about this, you know, that if it's private property that's around it, the person who has rented that property has cars there that in order to get the equipment in to cut the trees down that are, you know, hazardous is going to cost them what Beth has brought to us is $500. Am I getting the story right, Beth?
Yes,
You stopped it.
maximum of $500.
Maximum of 5. So what we would like to bring to council this evening is if we could authorize, and this is the town expenditure, this is why she brought it to the finance committee, authorize up to $500 to move cars, because the cars would be moved and then they would be put back in that lot.
Will these cars be moved by the person that is renting the lot? Or are they, or are we going to get a private,
This is a towing company.
this is a towing company?
Yeah.
Okay,
It has an association with property, but it is a licensed, business license.
yeah, but is it the
towing
guy
company.
that's running the towing business there? Because if those cars are there due to the towing business, then he should,
They're not.
they are not.
They are
Okay,
not.
Okay,
Yes, they're
okay,
not.
all right. Because my whole thing is, you know, I would think to protect that building, the owner of that property would be willing to ante up, and have the vehicles moved. I mean, I don't know, I kind of get
It's
I mean-
something that there's a lot of balls in the air related to this project. What I'm seeking is permission from the town council, the authority to spend the money if I need to.
right, right.
It's, I guess you could say a last
Last ditch effort if we
right,
need it.
last ditch effort, but the tree board has put a lot of time and effort into this, and
Right.
they want to be done with it. They kind of are getting up to the point of exhausting their options, so they just want the council to give permission to spend this money if we need to. Of course, if we don't have to,
agree, and the thing about it is, I mean,
The tree board is going to be paying for the cost of
right,
taking down the
get the trees down. My whole problem is, I mean, I don't know, I mean, it's $500, I mean, I know, but I kind of don't understand the landowner. I mean, you know, it's protecting his building, but then if we don't cut the trees down and they fall down on his building, then he's gonna tell us that we have to fix his building. So he's kind of backed us into a corner, basically saying, if you want to use the property, you move the cars and put them back. I mean, I don't want to be setting precedents here, you know, if we have another place where there's a bunch of cars that, well, the owner's gonna come back and say, you know, well, you know, you did it there for this, so you do it here for that. That's my whole, I mean,
Right.
I know we don't have any legal way of, cause it's his property. But I mean, I don't know how, that's kind of my feeling.
I understand that work, but as, you know, as the town council is aware of, we are getting to the point where we need those trees
Yeah.
removed. And so, as I indicated, we are kind of we're catching a lot of balls at once between the tree works, the tree board, the renters, the owners of the property, accessing the bridge, not being able to access the bridge, and on and on that.
Right.
You know, there may be a problem with dumping now, so, as I indicated, we will make a genuine effort not to spend this money if we don't have to. But we do need to continue moving forward on this, and so that's why we're seeking authorization to
Right.
spend the money if we need to.
I'm just going to be talking about this 6 months. from
Right,
now.
and I understand now,
We're all getting weary.
if we have to do this, will the money go directly to the towing company, won't go to the landowner that to pay the towing company?
It will pay for an invoice.
Right, to the towing company, so,
Yes.
okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Where out of the town budget will this come?
Contributions, is this one that we talked about contributions?
No,
No.
we'll have to investigate that.
I mean, it's kind of upsetting that the landowner won't work with us and get those vehicles out of there. I mean, you know,
I would have done it already.
well, I know you would have, but, you know, it sounds like he's kind of being complicated and he's kind of backed us into a corner. We are landlocked. We can't get in any other way to get those trees. So he's basically landlocked us, which is number one, illegal. So.
Well, I think some of those issues will be dealt with by the county.
Okay.
But, we have to deal with the issue that's our responsibility,
Right.
and that's addressing the removal of the trees.
Right.
And,
Yeah, and this property, including the, this property that we're moving the cars on is in the county.
Right.
And there's issues.
Okay. All right. Well, like I said, I'll let it up to the council. I just wanted, you know, I wanted to make sure that payment would be going to the towing company and not to, you know, to the landowner to pay the towing company. So, you know.
now, one of the things they make clear at the auditors the auditor's meeting that we attended is, in a situation like this, you get an invoice that you pay, or you get an invoice that they paid and they're seeking reimbursement.
Right.
You don't hand basically cash over to someone, so.
Right.
We're aware of that fact.
I just want to make sure that, you know, that it's not that I know the money would be going to,
No,
but I
I-
want to make sure the towing
Yes.
company, if he does the service, that he definitely gets paid.
Correct.
Okay, because I don't want him to, you know, move all the cars out of there and then all of a sudden they landowners say, well, so. Anyway, I would entertain, if so moved by any of the council members, a motion in a second.
I'll make the motion, that we authorize an expenditure of up to $500 to move the cars, so that, hazardous streets can be cut on county property.
I think we also need to have some type of liability in there if something happens to those vehicles while they're being towed, that the town's not responsible, be the towing company. Because I don't want to be held liable for
Right, Greg has
them
already
pulling a
suggested
vehicle
that.
out of there and maybe something happens to it and then they come back and say, well, you moved the vehicles.
What's it called again?
Hold harmless agreement.
Yeah, yes.
I think
will
we
make
really,
sure
we
have a
really
hold on.
need to do that so that we're not held liable for anything that might happen to vehicles while being towed.
And I amend my motion to add that a hold harmless agreement be established with the towing company in West Country.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I just want to cover us so that we don't end
Very
up having
good point.
to pay for a vehicle or something,
Second.
Okay, have a motion and a second on the floor. Do I have any more discussion? All question, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes.
Beth, the rest of the things that we talked about, cemetery, I'll just leave to you for your
All right,
committee.
very good.
And the only other things that came up, we are still, going to be moving from ASI to Muni billing for the garbage and water. And of course, I know how I am with my business, and anytime there's anything that has to do with computers and a big deal, even if it's changing phone service or anything, I'm a little nervous about it. So I imagine that the Berkeley Springs Water Works and the town office is a little nervous about this
Yep.
move. But I guess we're gonna move forward, take a deep breath, and
It's
get it done at some point.
something that needs to be
Yeah.
done so that we can get on a better track and be able to track better. So, good deal.
The rest I'll leave to Beth.
Okay.
So it's a lot about cemetery. and
Yes,
finance.
always. And we took care of tree board. Is there anything else for tree board? Because I'm gonna skip down over it unless there's something else for tree board.
I don't think so.
Okay, Grant,
Besides the HLC grant, I don't have any additional updates.
okay,
I just have one thing on the grant, as I informed the council, we applied for infrastructure green grant for Greenway. I was notified today that we've not received the grant.
okay. All right. Okay, public safety,
We have already dealt with the meters. Danielle has decided to move forward with the Winter Press Parade. It will be on December 4th at 5 o'clock. If anybody needs any more details or wants to apply to be in the parade, please contact Danielle.
I'm happy about that.
yeah, I think back to some type of normalcy and
Yes.
let our kids realize that we're, that it's time. So we need to kind of blast that out there, maybe on the website. I don't know what Danielle's doing as far as advertising, but I'm very, very, very happy about that.
Steve's already advertised it. It's put on the town page and it's already
Okay.
put on Facebook page.
Good deal.
So that's taken care of with her. And you sent out an email about a four-way stop at Mercer and
In Mercer and
Warren.
Warren Street up by
Yeah,
Boys, I was
well-
have been stopped several times by people there that have almost got hit either coming up the hill or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I'd like that investigated. I think that is a town
Well,
street.
we were talking to the chief about it and he has concerns because the stop would have to be there and people pulling off Route 9 going down Mercer Street. There only can be like 2 or 3 cars there and then that traffic is gonna start backing up on Route 9.
Yeah,
I mean, he's concerned about that.
I understand that, but I'm concerned about somebody trying to come up that hill
Right,
and not being able to see, especially this
yeah,
way.
and there's cars parked there,
Right.
and there's bushes there, and it's hard to see around that,
Right.
we did note that too. But he wanted your concern about the traffic going on Route 9
Yeah.
there, that's how it is, especially if there's trucks that are delivering there,
Right.
they come down that way.
The other-
so.
Other point that we have is that's becoming a bypass for 522.
Mhm.
I sat down there the other day and those cars, and even when school gets out, they come right up and right down that and they go, and there was 5 or 6 cars that flew right through the four-way stop there at Citizens,
Yeah,
at Market and
Yeah.
Mercer. So my main concern is, if we're not gonna put a four-way there, then we're going to have to do something to try to control that intersection there one way or another. I don't know what it is or whether he has a suggestion, but like I said, I sat there the other day and right at when school let out. And I don't know if you've seen it, but they'll come down and they'll turn right there on Route 9. And as soon as they turn on Route 9, they've got the turn signal to turn the other way to come down Mercer Street.
Mhm.
And then they come all the way down to this light here and they come out and go.
Yeah.
Because they know it's a quick cut. So we're gonna probably have to come up with some solution, whether,
Well, he just wants you to consider the
right.
thought
And
and
I
his ideas.
I didn't think about that,
I
so,
didn't either.
but,
so.
we really need to investigate if there's anything we can do to control the traffic in that intersection. I don't know if he has any suggestions, so, like I said, tell him to think about it and see.
Okay.
Thank you. I thank this public safety for looking at that. And we'll go from there. Anything else?
No, that was it today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And like I said, touch base with him and see if he has any suggestions of
Okay.
what he thinks we could do there to safely mitigate that and make it run a little. Okay, let's go thank you. Let's go to cemetery. Beth?
Okay, I have a couple different things. First of all, one of the things I have on the agenda is, we do not currently have an employee to open and close graves in Greenway, which means we do not have any income related to funerals. So we are needing to continue to pursue efforts to hire a new employee to open and close graves. I did get a couple more ideas today, actually, from finance committee, which I'm going to pursue. If those do not generate an employee, then I will be placing an ad in the Morgan Messenger sometime over the next couple months, advertising the position. This individual would be a town employee, but with one responsibility, so their work hours throughout the year would be limited based on funerals. So I will continue to work on that, but I did want to make the council aware of the fact that right now, funerals that are being conducted in Greenway are being taken care of by an independent contractor for a business, a business that gets paid directly for his work. So we are not receiving any finances at all from funerals. Second, I want to let you know that we are also I'm going to be doing an ad for the Morgan Messenger sometime in the next couple of weeks. There isn't a real hurry on this, but in the Morgan Messenger, advertising, seeking bids from contractors to remove the facade from the mausoleum. We need to do this before we can actually get someone to analyze the structure of the mausoleum itself before we can seek Perpetual Care Trust Fund money to do repairs on the building. We think the building is actually structurally sound, that once the facade is off, the buckling that's occurring on the front of the building will stop. But then we will need to do some repairs on the front of the building, which will be primarily cosmetic, but they will need to be done because the doors are also buckling on some of the various bolts, and those need to be look good. They need to be respectful for the deceased that are buried there, and so I will do that ad sometime in the next several weeks as some more information becomes available to me. Also, I talked to Mrs. Willard and informed her of the possibility that the town could apply for permission under the home rule plan to sell them the plot of land that they want to buy, that our attorney correctly advised us we could not sell. It's part of a public cemetery. It cannot be sold to a private citizen for private use. But under the home rule plan, we can get permission to set that law aside. I have worked with the attorney for the municipal league. She thinks the application would be successful. I mean, obviously she can't guarantee it. It's not her decision. It's the home rule board's decision, but they have had other issues related to selling public land that you can't sell for whatever reason. Taking it to the cities have taken that to the home rule board and been successful. The Willards are definitely interested in still obtaining that land. The next step for the town council would be how do we determine the price of the piece of property? Because that's basically the final yes or no with the Willards. They say, yes, we want to buy the land, but they also like a price, because if we say $5,000, not interested. And obviously, that's just a number out of the sky, and we know it's not. Yeah, I told her it's probably gonna be a couple $100, but I would get a number from the council, however that's done, and then get back to her, and if she says yes. And she also understands that if there are any attorney's fees related to the purchase of the land, she will be responsible for those. But with those two stipulations, if they both go and are acceptable to the Lords, then I will go forward to do an application, and that will involve with doing ads in the Morgan Messenger, holding a public hearing, the same things that we had to do last time, but it will be much simpler because this is one specific problem with one simple solution. So how do we determine the price of property?
The appraisal will probably cost more than the property.
Well, we had survey done, but we didn't have an appraisal done.
And not just on that one little slice.
Yeah, we had it done on one
Oh,
little
you
slice.
did?
Yeah,
Oh,
it
okay.
was
Oh,
broke
oh,
up.
okay.
It was broke up between the main cemetery and the slices
Gotcha.
that they wanted to receive from the town. We did two separates on that, so
So we do actually have a price?
we don't have a price, we got
Okay.
an appraisal, or not
A
appraisal,
survey.
but a survey.
Okay,
I don't
okay,
know.
a survey, all right,
Yeah,
yes,
I mean, I don't know if we are bound by any particular standard that we have to accept a certain amount for the property or ask a certain, what the market value is. I don't know.
Why don't you ask the municipal league attorney? if-
all right, I will do
Yeah.
that.
Would our
And if we
guidelines
don't, I
for
mean,
this-
we could set a price that would be comfortable for the council if we're legally allowed to do that.
I mean, I think it's probably gonna end up having to do that because it's a piece of land that cannot be used for burials anymore
Right.
because we don't do burials in the old English cemetery. And so it's, in essence, it's,
Right,
you know,
it's-
everyone calls land worthless, but,
Right.
so I will talk to municipal league, see
It
what their
just-
suggestion is and come back to the council.
That would be,
And we'll go from there.
yeah, I
Because
think
the
that would be.
Willards are definitely interested.
Right, and then we can, maybe next council, we can bring that up if you have the information back, the attorney says, yeah, you're not set to a certain, you can determine what we would wanna sell it for, and we can kick some numbers around.
Very good.
Everybody be thinking about that piece of property up there, because if Beth comes back next meeting, we're gonna wanna, kind of kick things around and see, because no sense going any farther until we get them a price, because if they really don't want it, then we can just let this thing drop and be done.
Exactly.
So let's do that.
Very good. That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Beth. I really appreciate all the work you're doing up there. Public Works, Rick isn't here. I know they've been out doing things. I know today I think they went up, they up on King Street, was that them up there, took that wall down? We're preparing, some things on Kent Street. We're hoping that we get, Legion Street and, the rest of Rockwell and, Blackwood paved in the next couple of weeks. We're hoping things, looks like maybe possibly, we're thinking maybe the end of the week or sometime next week for them to do those paving jobs. So, and Rodney's hoping and praying that maybe they have a little extra blacktop left over. We'd like to try to lay that on Kent Street.
Okay, so we're talking about
Legion,
Legion, Kent, Blackwell, and
And
Rockwell.
to finish Rockwell up, because we did half the street, and we promised him we'd do the other half. We promised him that Blackwell would be paved, and then Legion Street, we went ahead and added to that because it's so bad in repair. So we took that responsibility on, and hopefully maybe once we do that, we can send off a bill to the state and say, hey, can you please help us? We went ahead and paved this street, even though half of it's your all's. And, I don't know. I mean, it can't hurt to send them a letter and say, hey, would you help us? And if they don't, they don't, and we just deal with it. But Rodney's hoping and praying, he talked to me yesterday, hoping and praying maybe they'll have a little left over that pump out here on Kent Street. Like I said, they kind of graded it down today. They took that, there was a concrete wall, or not a concrete wall, but a rock wall there that was actually encroaching on town property, and we got permission from the, I guess whoever the landowner was, they let us take it down. So they cleaned all that up. It looks real good up there because he took what, you know. So we're hoping and praying that we can put a base down there. We won't have that big hole that comes there every year after winter time. So, so. So anyway, other than that, I know that they're preparing vehicles for possible inclement weather. So I won't say the other word. So anyway, I know they're working along with that and go from there. So ordinances, I did not have a meeting again. I'm starting next month will be a meeting. I will have myself back in sorts by then and be able to concentrate. So like I said, I apologize to the council for not being as attentive as I should have. So, and we'll go from there. Waterworks.
The water committee met yesterday afternoon. Three things. With the water line replacement project, we had our pre-bid meeting on October 19th. We had five to seven contractors who came and were interested. And the bids are due on November 10th at 2 p.m. So that's moving forward. On the water line extension project, we have an engineering, an RFP out for engineering work, the design work that's due. The bids are due in for that by November 19th. And we did have at least one potential bidder asked for a site visit walkthrough, which Ron and Scott Frankelden are coordinating tomorrow with that part. And then with Unibilling, that is, as Susan mentioned, is moving forward. Contract has been signed with Unibilling, and they're on November 10th will be a kickoff meeting with the implementation team to put that in full transition mode to the new system. So hopefully, as you say, hopefully that will move forward smoothly. We can only hope. But the people we've been working with at Unibilling seem very capable and very cooperative and good to work with. So hopefully it will go smoothly. And that's all I have.
Okay. All right. Well, at this point in the meeting, I always ask, is there anything else that needs to come before council?
I have a card here for John McCracken's family, if anybody wants to sign it, but I have it here for everybody tonight.
All right, well, I will entertain a common consent to adjourn our meeting. Everybody good? All right, we adjourn.
And then you pass the card this way, please.
Yeah.